And ladies, it's B Tatum back again for another live stream. So what we're doing now, if you guys haven't noticed, and shout out to the background, Sky and Sean came over here. We kind of put together a little set. I got my boy Sean Taylor back there, my favorite football player. Unfortunately, he lost his life way too soon. However, this is our live stream that we do on Thursdays. Have a panel discussion. It's me and a couple of other brothers who, I respect, who are conservative, and we may not agree on everything, but I think the consensus is that we are real, genuine individuals who are out to see our country do better. So I want to do some housekeeping while we start and wait for everybody to get in, everybody to get, comfortable in the comment section. I want to start with one thing. Let's talk about the Tatum Squad, because a lot of people may be confused about the Tatum Squad. I think some people have gotten a hold of it. However, we have Tatum Squad on the YouTube channel, and Tatum Squad also extends to our Discord channel. So this is how it works in a nutshell. We have the Tatum Squad that you can join. You hit the join button on the YouTube channel. And then also, if you go to tatumsquad.com, you can have access to an even more robust community where we have Bible study, where we have praise and worship music and stuff that we play in the background. We're going to have movie night. We have games. We have chats. You could go through the whole gamut of an experience with the Tatum Squad family and all of the good stuff, man. There's certain tiers that you can go to. However, I want to make this very clear. Everybody that's on Tatum Squad on the YouTube channel, you also will give you a coupon so you can go right over to the Tatum Squad on the Discord channel and have access to everything. I think the first three months will be completely free to you. And the reason why I'm doing this, and I know a lot of people may be confused, I don't want to have to pay money. Listen, at any minute, they can ban your boy from the YouTube channel at any moment. And I don't want to lose connection with you guys. I don't want to lose access with you guys. So it's a way to support that effort and also be in contact as a community. So if they kick your boy off, we'll still be rolling and strolling. All right. And another thing, there's a channel called Tatum Clips. If you guys haven't, I guess, seen the clip channel, or you've seen it and you're confused about the clip channel, that is my channel. I decided to start a new channel so that if you don't have time to watch a hour-long video, 2-hour-long video, 15, 20-minute video, we have short clips, some throwback videos and all of that for you to digest. You can share them with your friends. They're the digestible version of all the videos that I do. So Tatum Clips, the link is somewhere on my page. You can go to Tatum Clips on the YouTube channel and subscribe. Please subscribe. Do your boy a favor. I did that for people who don't have the time and they may be in a rush. They want to hear some quick hits, and they can do that. So without further ado, me running my mouth too much, I'm waiting on ABL. I think he's on CPT like I normally am, but I'm going to bring in my other two guests, and then when ABL gets here, he'll be able to jump right in. So, ABL's here. Speaking of the devil. No, I'm just playing. That's my boy, man. But anyway, without further ado, somebody said, does Brandon have a Discord? We have a Discord channel. So go on there. The links will be in the comment section. Sky, get you squared away. You can link us in the description section. We'll get all that figured out after I close out this live. So without further ado, let's bring in my people, my panel. First up, ABL, my brother from another mother, Jericho Green. All right, and my new brother, Oliver Mack. Oliver Mack is awesome. If you don't know him and you haven't followed him, because I haven't had him on the show before, but Oliver Mack go hard on the IG. I watch his stuff every day. All of the critical news and information that you have, you're going to get it from Oliver Mack. So shout out to y'all brothers, man. Without further ado, we're going to jump into this, and make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Also search for these brothers while we're talking. If you'd like to follow them, I'll give them an opportunity to tell you where they can follow them and support them. So let's get into this, man. So I know all of us have been consistently pushing in the realm of fighting for a position as a conservative, because a lot of people may view us, because we're Americans of African descent, that somehow we got to be liberal. So my personal opinion in it all is that I think that Black people are not a monolith. We are not monolithic in thought. Even in the conservative movement, we're not a monolith. So I want to ask the panel, why did you become a conservative, and do you get pushback? ABL, go ahead.
All right, now see, my thing was, it was kind of already in me to be conservative. Like, I already had that conservative social stuff. Like, I'm from Virginia, but I was born in West Virginia. My parents are from West Virginia. So my mom grew up small town, 1,000 people, ran West Virginia, also known as ran University, where Randy Moss is from. You know, I met Randy's mom and all of them. So if you ever hear our Randy Moss talk, that's how we all talk. All right. So real country people. So we just are conservative. All this LGBT, all that stuff is just not really a thing up there. It's just real Southern, real traditional. So that was always there. And the political stuff wasn't really there for some reason. It's kind of like tradition to vote Democrat. So as I got older, as I started to just, become an adult, I started to see little things that didn't make any sense in the Democratic Party, things they'd be into, especially right now. Like I see what's happening right now with how weird they've gotten. I saw that years ago. I saw it going this direction. I'm like, okay, I'm not really feeling this too tough. And one of the main things was the economics of Barack Obama. I voted for him the first time. I did not vote for him the second time because I saw that the country was not going in the right direction. Open change didn't happen. So the economic part of it and the weird stuff they do, it kind of made me go in a different direction. Went down a deep, dark rabbit hole, found a bunch of information. And I'm like, okay, all this over here matches up with what I already believe in my everyday personal life. So it just kind of made sense to bridge it together. I feel like that had been kind of a missing link in my life that had to get patched up.
Yeah. What about you? What about you, Oliver?
Well, I can say the reason that I became conservative was this right here. Black Lives Matter. Because I was a liberal through and through. I was a Bernie Sanders supporter, all that. I used to watch the Young Turks. But once I started seeing, yeah, I did. Once I started seeing what was going on with the Black Lives Matter movement and how the media was lying about it, then I started kind of digging into that, what other people were saying. And I've listened to you guys. So I attribute that to you guys because I found your content and you were able to help me to kind of sort it out, to see who I was, because I had a bunch of friends and none of them were conservative. None of them thought like me. So whenever I would talk about the fact that, hey, I think the media is lying to us, or this racism narrative that they're pushing is not true, like they would attack me and belittle me and berate me. So I had to go to find someone who agreed with me. And it was you guys on YouTube. So that kind of sent me down a rabbit hole into seeing just what a conservative was, because when I discovered you guys, I didn't really know what conservative was. Like I know what liberal was, and I know what those beliefs was, but the other side, I had never really investigated, never really knew what it was. But once I started going down that rabbit hole, I figured something out. Like my whole thing was, back in the day, even when I was a liberal, how can we help the Black community be better? Because I'm from New Orleans. I come from the hood. So I'd have seen all the worst of the worst in terms of the Black community. So I didn't want to see that stuff anymore. Like my whole thing was, I don't want to see this stuff anymore. So how can we fix that? And I knew that the welfare state and all these different things that the government was offering was not helping Black people. So when I started finding out what conservatives had to offer, what the right was talking about, I said, wow, this aligns way more with my beliefs, my core values, and what I want to see for the Black community than the liberal side. So once I got into that groove and started digging more and more, I'm like, this is where I belong. This is where I need to be. And these are the type of people that I need to associate myself with. So that's what I did.
Awesome. Jericho, what's your story, man?
I think you can boil down my experience to one of my favorite words, juxtaposition. I was fortunate enough to not be raised in a bad neighborhood, but we had family that did in East Oakland. So we would go up there sometime to visit. So I was able to see my life juxtaposed with their life. I was able to see that, it doesn't have to just be this way for us. We can live that Huxtable lifestyle if we want to. It doesn't have to just be this way. And being in radio, that really exposed me to the other side. I was definitely a political leper at the radio station. Nobody was thinking like me. So I was able to see, these people are crazy because of the things they would say to me and how emotional they would get. And once you peel back one layer, they start name calling. So they don't have the mental wherewithal to debate. So I was seeing these people and seeing what they believe, and it just never felt right to me. That mindset, that victimhood, that blame it on the man, whoever that is. It just never felt right. And shout out to my parents who drilled that this is on you kind of mentality. You can't, there's nobody else doing this for you. There's nobody else making your decisions for you. It's on you. So, my parents being able to see, the other side of the coin, so to speak, that's what I attribute being a conservative to, and just hearing things. Like I said, the other side, the left, the liberals, it just never felt right to me. It just never fit right. So, I was fortunate enough to pretty much always be a conservative.
Yeah, man, that's I'm kind of similar to that. I grew up I like to say in and around the hood. My mom and them did the best that they could to get us in a situation where we were in good schools, where we were in safe environments. Sometimes we lived in areas that weren't the greatest. Most of the time we lived in decent areas. I graduated from an all-black high school. I mean, it was gangster. You know what I'm saying? Paula and Dunbar was gangster when I went there. But when I started when I went to college and I moved away from home, which I encourage every single young person that live in the hood, or you have an opportunity to go to college, man, leave your city, go somewhere else far away so you can get a fresh perspective on the way the world is, So when I went to college, I woke up, I became a police officer, which is something I never thought I'd do. And then when I was a cop is what really changed me, man. I was around a bunch of incredible people who I viewed that were heroes. And those people were telling me and showing me on a day-to-day basis that I was not a liberal, like I wasn't a Democrat, and it really started to change the way I thought. Obama, thank you, Barack Obama, for waking me up, because Barack Obama started bashing police, and that really turned me off to everything that the left was doing. And I said, never again would I support anybody like that. But let me add this, and that's what really drove me to be a conservative. But here's the thing, man. I know every single person on this panel gets this attitude from other black people, and it's mostly black people. In my comment section, most white people are, yeah, hooray, thumbs up. I've never had a person say anything racist to me in my comment section that were white. But for some reason, brown people just hate, I know for a fact me, but I perceive that they hate us. And the rhetoric is that we hate ourselves. We hate the black community. We are a detriment to the black community. Yeah. Our rhetoric is preventing black people from waking up. So I want to hear what y'all thoughts are on that, man. I think it's incredibly sad that grown folks cannot listen to us spew truth. I mean, facts, bro. And they get in their feelings. So what do y'all think about the pushback that a lot of us get from the black community? Now, anybody jump in whenever you're ready.
Oh, okay. Now, the thing about it is, it's weird people that say that, like your rhetoric is harmful, because I'm kind of like, when I was, becoming conservative, I was going online trying to find this rhetoric. I was trying to find it. Like, I wanted to hear this. I didn't want to hear what I already had heard, because I was open-minded to changing. I didn't like what I was seeing already. So when people say, oh, well, you got to reach out to them and try to get them to, it's like, okay, if you want to help somebody get off drugs, right? You won't go down to the dope spot with some crack saying, hey, here's a little bit of crack. You want to smoke this and get off drugs? That's not how it works. They want to get off the drugs. You don't put crack in the rehab. You get away from all the drugs. You get away from all that kind of crazy stuff, period. And you get into the new life. That's the way it's supposed to be. And that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to find a better way. I was trying to find better rhetoric. I was trying to find conservative values, not conservative light, not conservative a little bit, trying to lure me in, because especially with grown people, you're not going to really lure grown people into conservatism like that. That's not the way it works. If you guys talk to anybody that's an adult and try to convince them to think differently, just like they are stone cold stomp down Democrat. They out there, they protesting, they marching, they fighting, they spitting and carrying on. You're not going to convince them in that state to change. It's not going to happen. They got to change when they want to change. Again, going back to the whole drug thing. If you got a guy out there that's completely high off his hind parts, acting the fool in the street, butt naked, you like, hey man, get off them drugs. Is he even going to hear you in this state of mind at that moment? He's not going to hear you. When he's ready to get off the drugs, when he's ready to get his life together, he'll come to you. He'll find you and what you have to offer. It's so simple. So I don't understand. I think it's just weird. People that think that way are not really all the way on the right track themselves. They still kind of got one foot in, one foot out. They may feel that peer pressure from their friends and their family saying, oh, well, you change. You're not real enough. You're not black enough. Get rid of all that stuff. You got to be confident in yourself as a conservative. And if you're not, just don't be. Just do something else.
Yeah, of course, like you said, B. Tatum, you look at all the negative pushback and they tell you that white people are racist, but no white person ever said the kind of stuff that you're saying to me in the comment section. I don't care who it comes from, hurtful words are hurtful words, and not that it hurts us, but that's what they're meant to do. That's why they're saying these things to you, to try to hurt you. So it doesn't matter who it comes from. What we're supposed to say, oh, it's coming from somebody with the same complexion as me. Oh, that's fine. No, that's ridiculous. If you're trying to say something, if you're saying hurtful and mean things to somebody, it doesn't matter what the speaker's color is. So yes, you get a lot of pushback from that. And the worst of it comes from those that look just like us. But I always hear my dad, he would always say, they may be your color, but they ain't your kind. So you don't owe somebody something simply because you look the same. You owe somebody something who's done something for you, who's tried to help you, who's shown you kindness. I don't owe anybody something just because we're the same shade. That is absolutely ridiculous. And people who like voted for Barack Obama just because he was black, that's ridiculous. So we don't have this automatic camaraderie or connection because we look the same. And you're not treating me as though we look the same. You're treating me like you hate me and I hate myself. No, this is self-love. I believe that I'm equal to everybody. I believe that I'm in control. I'm in charge. This ain't Don't Be a Menace where there's some white dude following me around with a list and a pair of black leather gloves. This is me. This is my show. This is my life. Nobody's controlling me. Nobody tells me nothing. Nobody tells me nothing of what I can and can't do. This is America, all right? So as long as people are strapping all their worldly possessions to their back and grabbing some empty milk jugs to float here or packing food on their back to walk here, don't tell me no different. This is the greatest show on earth. This is all on me. So I don't subscribe to that victimhood and white people and self-hate. This ain't self-hate. I love myself. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I'll add something a little different to that. So I'm used to the attacks and the things that I get from Black liberals, and I can take that. I respond to everybody that gives me a negative DM, everything, comments, everything. I'm always responding because I feel like somehow, some way, maybe I can break through. But the thing that I'm getting a little frustrated with right now is the attacks that I get from so-called Black conservatives that feel like my rhetoric is harming the conservative movement. Like there are some Black people that feel like we gotta wake Black people up like this. Hey, it's okay. Get up. You don't want to be a victim anymore. But for me, I'm like a splash of cold water in the face. Like you got to get this truth. You got to get this knowledge, whether you like it or not. And that's what I'm trying to bring. But I get a lot of pushback from people who are supposed to be on my side. And it is what it is.
Oliver, I think you brought up a really good point because, you know, we see this all the time, man. It's funny because there's a group of people that call themselves conscious conservatives. And I think it's the dumbest thing on planet Earth. Black people, the same people that are saying Black people are not a monolith. Black people are not a monolith. Yet you want to approach, you know, communicating with Black people in a monolithic way. That it makes no sense. All of us have a different experience. Like a lot of people that are in the conservative movement, I don't know many of them who were police officers. So, you know, I come from a different perspective. You know, I grew up in a certain way. I played college football and I was a police officer. So I'm going to have a different approach on how I see things. And that's totally fine, bro, because I'm approaching the things like if, you know, when I was a leftist, what I would want to hear. I don't want to hear a dude tell me what I want to hear and rub the back of my head and it's going to be okay. You know, the white man is doing all this. When I grew up seeing other brothers give crack to other Black people, you know, I grew up where you couldn't go down certain streets in the Black community wearing certain colors. Mama, you get the brand new J's. Mama say you can't put the red shoestring in there. They're going to think you are blood and shoot you. It wasn't about white people. It never was. And the reason why I stand so firm on the things that I say and the reason I approach it the way I do is because it's no way that you're going to fix a wound without first addressing the wound. You can't just put a Band-Aid on top and then start pointing the finger at everybody else. You need to put some Neosporin. You know, my grandma used to do calf on fatigue. You need to put some stuff on that. You know what I'm saying? My grandma used to put it in your mouth. She like,
that's an old school calf on fatigue. Man, you talking about stuff
fatigue,
in the 60s. Good grief.
Grandma put calf on fatigue on every. You break your leg, she put calf on fatigue on it. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but
I haven't heard that in decades, man. That was a throwback.
Let me grab the super chat real quick. So it says Haram Rhodes reveals arrived. So I guess that's his full name. He arrived on Capitol Hill as the first black member of the U.S. Congress in 1870. But first, the Mississippi Republican faced Democrat determined to block him. History, baby. That's one of the things that I think that is very important, is the things that we say plus the context of history. You know, black folks have been very successful and done a lot of great things, and all we see on the mainstream media and in movies is us being slaves. You know,
Yep.
and that's what I'm sick of. That's what I'm sick of. So I want to hear y'all opinion about some of these things and the conscious conservative and all of this bull crap.
Real quick, Oliver, something you said about that splash of cold water in the face. My dad did that to me. He was at the bottom of the stairs. Hey, son, get up. Didn't work. Next thing I know, I'm swimming in my dream. He took a big gulp, a 44-ounce big gulp of cold water and dumped it straight on my face and said, "Get up, boy." So yeah, sometimes you need it. You can't. Everybody don't wake up like that. Come on, honey. That doesn't work. It hasn't worked. But fortunately, I've never got any pushback from so-called black conservatives or conservatives in general. I mean, I'm here if they want to bring it, but I haven't had anything like that. But like B. Tatum was saying, black folks have been successful in this country since we got here. See, everything they want to tell us is every slave was kunta kinte. Every slave was yes boss with bales of tobacco on their back. And that's true to a certain extent. But black folks did everything. Blacksmiths, gunsmiths, they worked on docks, they built boats, they worked in hospitals, they did everything. If there was a job to be done, they did it. And a lot of slaves were more of, I guess, an indentured servant. They were treated with a level of respect. They had a home to go to at the end of the day. And there was a light at the end of the tunnel as far as their indentured servitude. So this perpetuation that we were just poor slaves and they're ripping the families apart and they're raping the women and all that may have happened, but that wasn't the whole story. But again, if it bleeds, it leads. If it tugs at your little heartstrings, that's what they're going to do, because the truth makes us take responsibility. The truth shows that we have a proud history and a hardworking history, and we don't need their handouts. But they need us to need their handouts, because without us needing them, there is no need for them and their power is gone. And when they're holding on to that power, they're like an animal caught in a trap. They're desperate, they're ravenous, and they will attack anybody that tries to get near them. But this belief that we're just these downtrodden people and we just can't get it, guys. First the slavery, now the Jim Crow, now we can't work the internet, we can't get driver's licenses. We just can't turn that corner. I am so sick of that, man.
Yeah, for me, I think it's all about reparations. I feel like they're trying to guilt white people into finally giving black people reparations. And we as black conservatives, we as people who spin a different narrative are preventing them from doing that. So they feel like they have to attack us because we're standing in the way of their payday. Like this whole reparations thing that I've been hearing, because I go on Clubhouse a lot. So I see all the racist chat rooms about white people and they need to pay up and slavery was a crime against humanity and all this stuff. So I hear all that and I know what their message is. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to guilt white people into giving them something. And I believe there's a lot of black conservatives that feed into that as well. They want their payday too. Or also, we have a lot of black conservatives that are still connected to family and friends who are liberal. They're still connected to family and friends who are Black Lives Matter supporters. And they don't want to rub them the wrong way because they don't want to feel like, oh, I'm a conservative and I lost all my friends. I don't care. I lost pretty much all my friends since I became a conservative. And that's okay because I know those people aren't real. If you're real, then you understand the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing, the reason that I feel what I feel is because I have a legitimate gripe with what's going on in this country, and I'm just trying to get the truth out there. So you can have that conversation with me. You can sit me down and say, hey, so why do you believe what you believe? None of these Black liberals want to even sit down to have that discussion. I'm open to debate anybody, but a lot of them don't want to sit down and have that discussion because they don't want that their light turned on. They want to sit in the darkness so they can still live in this victimhood, this victim mentality, because they're hoping one day that they'll get a payday.
Couldn't have said it better, man.
And you know what? The funny thing about that is this whole payday thing, they're not going to get that because what did your man Joe Biden say? Look, hey, man, I don't care nothing about none of reparations, none of that black stuff. When Charlamagne God was asking him about that, it's like, look, vote for me, you ain't black. How about that? And then they went out there and voted for him anyway. The same people talking about reparations now, pay us, pay up, cut the check. After he said that, they still went out there and voted for him. So if you do that, then how are you going to get anything? You're trying to negotiate from a place of weakness. You have no leverage at all. And really, the GOP does not need the black vote, quite frankly, because Trump won without the black vote for the most part. The Democrats will get it anyway. And then if they don't get your vote, they're going to have the borders wide open and then try to give them amnesty and have them become voters. So it's like you're not even really in the equation. So what are you doing when you're trying to fight people that are just trying to get people to wake up or live in their own life? You're not even going to accomplish anything. Really, Jericho, so you lucky, man, because you're not on Twitter and stuff, on Instagram like we are. Yep.
That's why he doesn't get it.
Exactly, because that's where it's at. You on YouTube talking, doing your thing. That's hey, man, hats off to you. But we over on Twitter, we over on Instagram. They all in their threads. They got little group chats. It reminds me of high school. You know, you might see a little bit of gray hair here. I'm a little bit old for that, so it's kind of silly to me. But if people got their own insecurities, people got their own problems, and they want to put it upon us as some kind of policy issue. But really, they need to highlight a therapist or a life coach, Ayanna Van Zant, fix their life and tighten up, because that's what's happening. It's not about anything serious as far as what we're doing. It's about them and their own personal insecurities.
Yeah,
1,000%. 1,000%.
I want to say something real quick. I think I'm going to say something controversial here. I think that we've already experienced reparations. I think reparations are more than just a check. I believe that affirmative action is a form of a reparation. I believe that all these color barriers they knock down for us to go and move and be wherever we want, I think that's a form of a reparation. Some people might want them to cut the check, but please do not hold your breath. Or never, go ahead and hold your breath, because it's never going to happen. Every 4 years, we're going to get a committee together to talk about it. Not a committee together to do research, to cut checks. We're going to get some people together to talk about it. It's never going to happen. We got it. Being here is a reparation. We're miles ahead of the rest of the world. You're already starting in a position of an advantage being here. And I think, like ABO was saying, with the Democrats not having to fight for our vote or campaign for our vote, and the GOP, they never did, so they don't have to. I think it's a form of communism. There's no competition. There doesn't need to be. We're going to lay down and give the Democrats their vote every time. We're going to ignore the conservatives and call them racist every time. Why? Why have a message? Why have a plan? They're getting the milk without messing with the cow. So why not?
Yeah, man, it's fun. It's funny because like black people have accomplished a lot in this country, and I think black people have gone really far, and black people could be way further than they are today. You know, in the 20s, people are talking about Black Wall Street and all of the black economic success that we've had. I mean, just recently, what's his name? Kanye West was named the richest black man ever at, I don't know, something billion dollars that he's worth. You know, Jay-Z, Beyonce worth billions of dollars, and they're entertainers. Like, there's a lot of African-American people, I would like to say Americans of African descent, if they would just quit the victim culture and all of the negativity that come with that, quit acting like, put your head between your legs and start really doing something great and start pushing and pursuing the American dream, I feel like black people would be way better off. If black people would stick to the message of God like we had been in the past, being married, having children. You know, my great-grandfather, I looked on my little ancestry because I didn't know him, But my great-great-grandfather had like 15 kids. You know, when we used to have children, we had economic success, we were married, we were progressing in this country. And now we have a few who are ultra rich, who don't give back. We have a few who could be ultra rich, but they spending their money on Gucci and buying Gucci belts and 55 chains. Man, I went to the UFC fight just recently, and there's a lot of celebrities that show up, you know, a lot of NFL players. And it is crazy to me. I look into the crowd and I see a lot of white people who I know are wealthy. Some of the people that sit at the very front, they are billionaires. None of them is walking around with $400,000 worth of gold on their neck. But you have these athletes who are not wealthy. They're rich. They got a couple million in the bank, and they got 55 chains on and all this high-end fashion. And in 5 years, they're going to be bankrupt. These things are attributed to culture. It's not the white man. I have never in my life had a white person hold me down. If anything, white people were helping accelerate my success in life. From when I was a cop to when after I left the police department to the things that I've been through now. Like I really wish black people would get off of the plantation, get off of this mindset of the police being, taking us out every day and you can't go outside your house. Which LeBron James said, living in a multi-million-dollar estate, probably off of a private road with a gate in the front yard, and he's probably never seen a bum, and he's never seen a bum since he's been rich, unless he's strolling around downtown, which he can't do because white people would worship every ounce of the ground he walk on. So I really wish black people would raise the standard and get to a position to understand that if you want to be great, you can be great. And if you continue down this path, you'll never get success. Let me jump to this clip. I want y'all to watch this because I think this is incredibly important. This guy is probably the dumbest person on planet Earth. And I know a lot of people that voted for him, including people in my family that voted for this guy. And I'm going to share this screen because I want to play this clip. And I want y'all to watch it with me. Let's see, share audio. Okay, share the audio as well. This clip is here. Is it? I think it's not. No feedback. So let's look. Just I want people to think about this for a minute.
Oh.
This is the president of the United States of America. All this talk from the liberals saying Black Lives Matter, black folk represent the color, people of color. Y'all elected another white man that's old, and this is how this fool talk. Roll the film.
Either way, just like the other question is illogical, and I've heard you speak about it because I'm not being solicitous, but you
solicitous. What's the solicitous? I'm not being solicitous.
You're always straight up about what you're doing, and the question is whether or not we should be in a position where you are. Why can't the experts say we know that this virus is in fact it's going to be, or excuse me, we know what.
God Dude, I want my eyes want to start bleeding. How is this possible? I mean, what do you guys think about this? I mean, this is incredibly ridiculous. I don't know. What do y'all think about Dummy McDum-Dum?
The rest of the world saw this. The whole world saw this. Man, if Trump did half of that, 25th Amendment, he is mentally unstable. They were saying that anyway. But this, bro, what's going on? Is somebody in his earpiece saying, "No, don't say that, Joe"? Because he was like, "Well, the doctors," and then he completely changed his thought process. Is that senility? Is that someone in his earpiece? This dude is a mess. And some people might say, well, it's just optics. He's just talking. The people around the world that we got a problem with, the people nipping at our heels, the countries, coming up or approaching us real fast from behind. It's all about perception. You have to project yourself as someone confident and competent and in control of things and letting the rest of the world know we're the lead dog, period. Nobody's going to get that from him. The world leaders are going to want to grab him by the hand and help him across the street. That's it. That dude is sad. And that's not misspeaking. We all talk for a living. We all misspeak. We all stumble over our words. But that's all that is. This man, this is a breakdown of his faculties. This dude needs to have a blanket over his lap, and he needs to be wheeled somewhere where he can easily throw crumbs to the ducks.
I can see this fool rolling with a blanket on his lap in a chair. No offense to people who really, but when you see now, you shouldn't be doing this, man. You shouldn't be doing this. And they want the world to believe that this guy is the greatest president to ever exist. He had the most votes out of any president in United States history, and he is dumber than 5 left shoes going in the wrong direction. I don't understand how this is even possible in our country. But black people, look at the voting. Look at the voting numbers and percentages. Black people voted for him over 80-something%. Over 80% of black people think that that's a legitimate candidate. Duped again. They duped again.
Yeah, this is an embarrassment for black people in general, because you could say at least 50% of white people voted for Trump, but to say that only 10% of black people thought that Joe Biden was not in his right mind, like that's an embarrassment. So to look at this man and look at how he's acting, he can't even speak straight, and to see that we're actually, if you look at some of these like left-leaning outlets, they're praising Joe Biden. They're worshiping Joe Biden. They're saying Joe Biden is giving off zaddy vibes, different things like that. I don't know if you guys ever heard that, but that's how they're approaching him. Zaddy vibes. That's what they're saying about Joe Biden, this person that we just saw in the clip. Zaddy. No, with a Z.
That's like some
Zaddy. Yeah.
Instagram.
It's like an older man, an attractive older man. That's what zaddy means.
If you go to Instagram, you go to Shade Room. That's how the girls talk. That's how
zaddy vibes.
Bro, yeah. This dude can't even be a sugar daddy. Like, there is no chick on
sugar
planet Earth that would be like, "Oh, this is my sugar daddy."
Fresh out.
Show up at the club or show up at an event with a mentally. I ain't gonna say that. Let me not say that. God, help me, bro. I can't believe we're dumb enough to do this. And people always say we bashing, and people always say you got number white people in your comment section, and only white people support you. That says more about black people than it does white me. Mm-hmm. Like how are black people so ill-informed that they don't support somebody like us, that they can't see that the Young Turks and all these other clowns are completely out of their minds?
But see, I'm gonna tell you something though, that the average person, especially the average black person, is not even in tune with none of this. They don't even know who the Young Turks are. They don't know who Brandon Tatum is. They don't know who ABL. They don't know nothing.
True.
All they know is Lil Baby, Gunna, Lil Durk.
Famous.
When's the next barbecue? When's the next kickback? You know, that's
the truth.
Yeah, that's the reality. So then when it comes time to vote, they don't know who's actually running. All they know is Democrat. I'm gonna vote Democrat because I'm gonna say, if you ask them, hey, who did you vote for? I don't know. Biden, maybe. Who's the vice president? I don't know. She black, ain't she? That's the reality that we're dealing with here. So when we're talking about things that actually make sense intellectually, we have to understand that we're really in tune with it. But the average person, especially the average black person, is simply not knowing what's happening at all. It's just pure ignorance about what's going on. If they saw this man do that, they'd be like, man, that's crazy. He looks like he the president. They'd be shocked. But they don't even know what's happening. They're not going to watch no CNN town hall.
Yeah, and what's funny, he did tell Don Lemon that you're always straight with things. I just want to put that out there. I thought that was funny. Because no, he's
always
not.
Straight, huh? I can't tell, Time.
I don't know. It looked like he's a little crooked. Also going down the one-way street. I don't know him. He's going down the one-way street. But yeah, man. But you know, when you look at this, you say, dang, man, you know, we need as a people. And it's not just black people, but black people particularly, because it's overwhelming the percentages of black people that fall for this stuff. But why don't we know who we're voting for? Why do people know LeBron James, but they don't know anybody that's in their local politics? They don't even know how to vote. Some people probably ain't even registered to vote. I know when I was growing up, I ain't gonna lie, I was growing up, nobody voted. Nobody thought about this. You couldn't tell me to recite the Constitution. You could tell me to recite anything, but I knew every Tupac song that came out. I knew everyone. I could do it. I could rap his stuff right now on the spot. You know, you couldn't tell me to think about credit scores and different in real estate and investment and education. And what does this mean? You know, what is your aspirations outside of sports and entertainment? And I think that, and understand all Black people are like this, but I think that there is a problem here that we are not addressing. And that's the reason why economically I think Black people fall behind, is because we are not in tune. And then the people who are supposed to be the intelligent amongst us, they're completely brainwashed, or they're kowtowing to some of these, you know, theories, critical race theory. You know, a man can, what did Mark Lamont Hill said, a man can give birth. It's like, what are our people who are supposed to be the intelligent ones? What are they doing? How are they leading? I think they're leading us astray, man.
I think it all comes down to family. It's like a funnel. We got all these problems and all these things going on, but when you come down to the other end, it comes to one narrow point: family. That's it. Family is not a guarantee that you're going to be a success. It's not a guarantee you're going to make smart decisions or stay out of trouble, but it's your best shot. And you owe your kids the best shot. Whatever the best shot is in your life, in your universe, that's what you owe to your kids. But when you got these broken homes, you don't have your pessimistic dad telling you not to trust the government. And, you know, whenever we leave the door open, get that man's hand out of my pocket. You know, there's the government. They're against us. I'm not saying that's always true, but your dad was going to be there to tell you, hey, don't trust all that. Don't listen to that. But when your family's broken and all you got is people telling you in your home, telling you about WAP, telling you about Zaddy vibes and all that kind of stuff, that's all you're going to know. When you don't got nobody in your corner helping you out, then you're not going to have a thirst for that kind of knowledge. You're not even going to know that kind of knowledge exists. It all comes back to home. All the successful groups in this country have the lowest out of wedlock birth rates. That is not a coinky dink. That is how it is. If your family's good, chances are you're going to be good. And that's what you owe to them. But when we don't value life, and we don't value family, who cares? My mom worked for the state adoption agency before she retired. And there was a woman in there who had 8 children in the foster care system. 8 from 1. That's not respecting and valuing life. Like you were saying, B. Tatum, blasting somebody because they got red laces in their shoes, that's not valuing life. How are you going to snuff somebody out for a pair of shoes? You're going to take somebody's life? To people like us, mind-blowing. I couldn't fathom taking somebody's life for some shoes. I probably wouldn't take somebody's life if they stole a pair of shoes from me. But because I want them, well, get a job. I wanted these cap guns when I was 8 years old. My dad said, get out there and start pulling weeds. I'm ironing my mom's clothes. I'm pulling weeds to make $10. Then I get to the register and I didn't know about tax. My dad taught me about tax. That intact family is so important, man. It's not even funny, because when you don't have that intact family, it's not funny. That's why we have these situations. That's why we got the BET Awards looking like sanctioned porn. That's disgusting, man. So when did that happen? How did we get here? That's like, it's just like falling asleep in the car. You wake up and you're at your destination. How do we get here? I missed everything. This is disgusting. But to all Black folks, all Black folks aren't okay with it. But I think enough of us are okay with it that we're all being dragged down with it.
Yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Y'all need to subscribe to these gentlemen here, ABL, Jericho Green, Oliver Mack is Right Wing Angel on the social media handles. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to them. I want to jump to something else because everybody's been talking about this. Me and one of my friends, his name is Jeff Utch, and he's a white man, and he's probably one of the most brilliant people that I know, but he's going around, you know, I've gone with him to certain events that have tried to fight against this critical race theory stuff. And I want y'all to see this clip and we can react to it. This is a young girl. I say young girl. She's a woman. I mean, she obviously have children.
That's Fallon. Shout out to Fallon.
Yeah, Fallon. And Fallon is, you know, she's with Blexit, Tennessee. If y'all don't know about Blexit, Blexit is a nonprofit organization. You can go to blexitfoundation.org and you can look it up and find all the details. Candace Owens and I co-founded Blexit. And it is an opportunity for us to present. Somebody got a car in the background. It's an opportunity for us to present reasonable facts and truth to people who don't often hear it. So I want you to hear just a little bit of what Fallon said, because I literally was blown away, because I've never seen anybody put it this way and put it this succinctly with a personal story and authenticity in 5 minutes. I mean, that was a task in 5 minutes to do this with poise and love. And I want to just play a little bit of this. So let's see. I think I got it all up there. Wrote a film.
Fallon Clark, and I am representing Black Tennessee. I'm just going to hop right in. So CRT, for such a complex, controversial topic, I have a very simple question. Why?
And I think that's, I mean, she goes on to explain it, but I think for us, I want to answer that question. CRT, we all have a perspective of what it is, how they're teaching kids to be, to hate each other, to hate this country. Not really to hate each other. They're teaching white kids to hate themselves, and they're teaching black kids to hate white kids, and for white kids to hate their ancestors, which 60% of white people that are in this country came here after slavery. Obviously, the majority of slavery did not exist in North America. I mean, you can go down the list. But why are they teaching CRT in our schools? I have my theory. So what do you guys think about it?
I think because they're soft targets. It's easy to go after kids. Their minds are still malleable. Their minds are still little sponges. You can poison their minds with that stuff and they'll believe it. And they're the easiest ones. I mean, period. You look at you see it a lot with mass shootings. People go to soft targets, events, schools. That's the same kind of mentality here. They're going after the kids because they're the easiest ones. And that's why it's so important for us to not only protect our kids physically, but to protect their intellect and protect their innocence. And we need to, I can think of 10 things right now that these schools need to be teaching these kids instead of some crap like CRT, instead of racism. That's basically what it is. How about credit scores, local government structures, things of that nature, the petty stuff they have to deal with every single day in their adult life. But this CRT crap, because this is the only ones they can pull it on. You get enough parents sleep at the wheel who don't check in with their kids and don't care about what they're learning, and who may agree with what they're learning. Maybe, they're drowning in liberal guilt, maybe some white guilt or something. So they believe, yeah, that is right. Our ancestors are bad. I am bad because I'm white. That is so stupid. But that's what they do. They change the words around. Critical race theory. No, this is racism. Because if you switch the colors and you're telling black kids that hate themselves and hate their ancestors, Al Sharptongue, Jesse Jackson, all of them be lining up to have something to say about it. This is racism, plain and simple, and it's evil that they're targeting our children. You tell me, I'm smarter than my kid. I got life experience. I pay taxes. Tell me that crap, not them. And they made it a local school district here, Salinas High School Unified School District. They made it part of graduation requirements, critical race theory, but they called it something else. They reworded, but it's basically the same thing. All this stuff about indigenous people and the patriarchy and colonialism and all that crap. Guess what? Everybody engaged in colonialism. Everybody. If I got a better army and I'm tougher than you and I beat you, you just got colonized. Everybody did that. You think them Arabs and them British people showed up in Africa and knew where the Africans were? No, the chieftains, they beat another village or another tribe. They took their men as slaves, supply and demand. You need some slaves? I got some slaves. Here you go. But somehow the people who are colored, who had something to do with slavery and all this nonsense, they're absolved of all wrongdoing. And we don't even talk about them. It's just the evil white people. But what about the Indians who had slaves? The Chinese people had slaves and Africans had slaves. What about them? Why are we picking on white people? By doing that, you're feeding into white supremacy. You're telling me that these people are superior just because they're white. You can't have it both ways, player.
Yeah, Anthony Johnson, the first legal slave owner. And I keep bringing him up because it's legitimate. It's a legitimate fact. Anthony Johnson, you can look him up. You can put him on Google. You can Google search him. Anthony Johnson was the first legal slave owner, a wealthy black man who went to court. The thing about it is that he went to court, like he went to a court and was heard in the 1600s and was granted the ownership of 2 black people for life. They were indentured servants, and I think they were working off their indentured servitude. And I think he argued that they belonged to him for the rest of his life. A black man. The continent of Africa is where black slaves were gathered and sold all around the world. And then South America is where majority of the slaves were in comparison to North America. Go ahead, Oliver. I think you had a point.
Yeah, I was just going to say, to me, CRT, they're just conditioning future Democrat voters. They're trying to make kids think the same way that Democrats today think. So they're going to grow up with these ideologies and these thought processes. So when they get older, it's easy for them to say, hey, come vote for us because we think what you think. So I think that's all it is. And it's all about politics. And, you know, I hate to say it, like they're trying to indoctrinate our children. And it's not just about critical race theory. You also have critical gender theory. That's going to be a thing. So watch out for that. Trying to indoctrinate our children into the LGBTQ community, which is horrible, teaching kids about sexuality. But all these things they're just trying to get kids indoctrinated so they vote Democrat later.
Hey, you know what? I got to tag on to that because what you said is right on point. It's about trying to condition kids. It's trying to groom kids so when they get to be adults, they'll engage in this really weird behavior. A friend of mine out here in Tennessee, Patrick Hampton, he has sent his kids to a Christian camp that everybody knows in the town. It's a very well-loved camp. People going there for years, right? A Christian camp for kids. The kids are like 6 and 8. So one day, one of the kids came back and said, hey, can 2 women get married? What? So he finds out that the Christian camp showed a video featuring a same-sex couple to a little boy, 6 years old. So not only are they in K through 12 school, public, private, charter, they're also in the church. You're going to have these LGBT pastors and whatnot going around trying to groom your kids. So we know what's next. We know what the end game is. If you're talking about drag queen story time, showing same-sex couples to kids, some really crazy sex ed in the classroom, we know where it's going. You see, it's a process. It's kind of like what China does. You know, China, they play the long game with their policy. You're talking about politics. Something they want to do may not happen right now, but it'll happen in the future. That's how they want it. They want to plant seeds. Like, do you know that a lot of Facebook engineers, like people that actually work on the code, a lot of them are Chinese, not just they're Chinese American, grew up in America and happen to be Chinese descent. I'm talking about they came from Beijing recently, like yesterday, straight from Beijing, speaking Mandarin and everything in the office. And that's the majority of your engineers. So China, they make everything, they code everything, they do everything. It's a plan to take over the whole world, to have at least influence in the whole world. It's the same thing with CRT. It's a bigger plan to have influence over the country, to dominate the country. And then they want to bring in a lot of the illegal aliens because of the political part. So you won't be able to fight them politically. The minds will be corrupted, so it'd be hard to overcome that. And then the next step politically would be communism. They'll install that, and we know how that whole thing plays out all the time.
1,000%. Dude, you couldn't have said it better. Like we are. I want to use the word, but I'm trying to be a good Christian. We have wussified. I'm gonna say wussified. We have wussified our children, our young people, and a lot of it is in the church too. You know, these black churches. I mean, I know they do it in white churches too, but I'm more concerned about the black churches because when I was growing up, the black church was the foundation of the black community. When I was in Texas, you went to church, even though church wasn't in you showed up at a church. We used to go to church. My daddy hated the praise and worship. He just wanted to hear the man speak. He go to the lecture. We hour late to church. We go to the preaching and we fall asleep in the church, but we still in the church. Daddy used to let us lay down. We look at the lights and the pastor used to be like, am I right? And he used to do that whole thing. And when we were kids, we thought something was wrong with him because he'll be talking regular and then he get to the end and he just like, and we like, man, I don't know what's going on. We fall asleep in the church. But you know what? We were at the church. We were there. You know, there were principles. And now church is woke, man. Church is woke. Like I'm putting my son. I want to put my son into this Christian private school, and I made sure that when I talked to him, I said, you know, y'all ain't doing no CRT up in here. And they're like, no, we don't believe in it. We're actually Christians. And I said, okay, good. They don't believe in that same. You got to sign a document when you do registration that you affirm these beliefs. You know that marriage is between man and woman. You know all of these different things. And I'm like, thank God. But you know they'll do that, and then they'll start teaching funny stuff on the side. But however, that's the type of environment that you want your children in. You don't want your children in an environment where they're saying all this crazy stuff and corrupting them. You know, sexuality and stuff is reserved for parents to explain when when their child is mature enough to understand it. You know, the school cannot one size fit all and thrust your kids into things they're not prepared to understand. Some kids in middle school are probably watching pornography, and that kid is probably, you know, influencing other kids, and they run right into the rhetoric. But your kid may be innocent. They've never heard about these things. They're not prepared to digest this. And the only understanding that they get is from their peers and this distorted view of it from teachers. And, you know, I had a person, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to shoot the mic to y'all, but I had a person tell me and question me about the private school that I'm talking about and said, how many black people at this private school? Is there diversity? And I'm like, hold on, man. Diversity has nothing to do with color. Diversity has to do with diversity of thought. I went to an all black school and there was a whole bunch of different black people in the school. All black people ain't the same. There was poor, there was drug, there was gang, there was successful, there were athletes, non-athletes. You know what I'm saying? People had both of their parents. Some people didn't have no parents and the grandma taking care of them. Some people lived down the street. Some people live in Arlington, which is like 30 minutes away, which we moved to Arlington. So it's like, you know, there's a diversity and people shouldn't be worried about diversity of color, skin color. You should be worried about diversity of education, knowledge, understanding to get you better prepared to be a person in real life, because the workforce, money, success don't care nothing about the color of your skin. It's about the knowledge that you have in your mind and how you apply that knowledge. So without me running my mouth too much, I think that the tech is coming from and being infiltrated through the church. I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I believe that's true. A lot of people still, you know, the church leads their life. They get their direction from the church. So they figure, well, if we can infiltrate all facets of people's beliefs, whether it be school or church, then that's what they're going to do. And what a ballsy move. Because, I mean, you know, people see the church and the Bible as those are immovable objects. You know, if it says this, then that's what it is. So how are you teaching kids about gay marriage and same-sex marriage where the book that your entire camp is based on says that that's a no-go? But again, they're desperate. Okay, this is they're in the final throws. This is it. They're swinging for the fences. They're emptying their arsenal. This is everything. So church, school, whatever, we got to do it because we don't want to lose this grip on our power. And I really think that ultimately, not only is it this CRT crap, I think they're trying to normalize pedophilia. Ultimately, you know, because once you start blurring the lines and once you start changing words around, and what's wrong with a dude in a dress reading to your kid? What's wrong? He's just a guy reading. He's just wearing a dress. No, it's not. That's imagery. And that's waters that are too deep for children to handle. That's why kids can't go to bars. Kids can't watch rated R movies because they're not ready for that. Kids are not ready for everything. We need to be the buffer between some of these adult things and leave it to the parents to teach them. You guys handle the reading and writing, all that kind of stuff, PE. But the heavy stuff, the heavy lifting, sexuality, exposing them to different things, that's up to us. But we're their last line of defense, the parents. Nobody defends another human being more fiercely than a parent. But if they can drive a wedge between us, if we can have because kids see teachers as the authority figures they are. They believe them. We all have a teacher that touched us in a positive way that we remember and we're fond of. We all remember things that we learned in school. So they figure if they can drive a wedge between kids and their parents, their ultimate protector, then it's all good. They got their little drones in place. They got their little future weirdos of America in place who don't see, man, that man and woman marriage stuff, that's old school, man. A man and a woman making kids, that's old school. Anybody can have a baby. A man can have a baby. He can breastfeed. It's whatever. It's all interchangeable. No. And I'm pretty sure we've all seen that video of that dude trying to breastfeed that baby. That's called, that is called child abuse. That's called sexual abuse. That was disgusting. But things like that, they want to make normal. What's the big deal? So what if 3 guys want to raise a girl and got the baby sucking on the dude? So what, man? We're all people. We're just all these beige globs of clay that we can just mold into whatever. Man, it's disgusting, and it's up to parental vigilance to save this country.
I'm trying to find that clip, man. That was was that a dude? Or was it trying to be was it a dude?
Okay, so I'm gonna explain what happened. Now, what it looks like is you have two trans people, right? One is a biological woman that now identifies as male. Apparently, they had the baby, but guess what? We got a problem because they had the breast removed, right? Because now they're a man. So how they gonna breastfeed with no breasts? Or they got limited breasts, right? They got male type breasts, but although they're still female, but anyway. So their partner is also transgender, but they were born a man. So the man has kind of like man boobs a little bit, right? He's trying to breastfeed the baby. Sir, you are a man. Men cannot breastfeed. This is child abuse. You need to go to the penitentiary right now. Jail right now, sir. I wish I could unsee that. I'm trying to unsee it, but I can't. I wish I could though.
I don't know if this is gonna get me banned, but like I'm just gonna scroll.
Oh man, come on.
Just close your eyes.
And then he's shocked that no milk is coming out. He's like, I don't get it.
Hey, I don't know if you guys ever watched Family Guy. If you guys ever watched Family Guy, there was an episode where Peter Griffin tried to breastfeed a kid too.
I remember that. Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna click on this, man. I hope it don't get me banned. But these are pictures of people doing this.
Okay.
What?
These are pictures that I see. You know, I'm just gonna click on this one.
Oh my goodness,
bro. I'm not even trying to make fun of people, but like, what in the is going on here? Like, what? Why you want to be a man?
That's about 10 different flavors of disgusting right there.
I can't look at it no more.
Oh my god!
But you know what? You know what I don't get? So, like in the past, you had transgender people and gay people, and they kind of understood. Well, we're gay, we're transgender. We're probably not going to be able to have children. We may be able to adopt, but that's it. But now you have transgender people giving birth and trying to breastfeed, and I think we have gone too far.
Too far. It's too far, bro. Yeah, it's too far. I don't know what I don't know what it's too far. It's like it's a circus show. It's like you didn't get it. You got to figure this out. Okay, we're in a society where there's male and female. If you want to run the gamut and play games, you need to be reasonable. Okay, you can do whatever you want to do on the sideline, but when you start interjecting children into your psychosis, I mean, this is not cool. Kids are going to be confused as heck when they wake up one day and mama got chest hair and mama look like a daddy, and people are like, what's going on? And then when they get older and you take them to school, you're setting them up for the twist, man. I mean, it used to be my homeboy Chris Parham, his daddy. Which now I look back and say he had a real dad. His dad would make him say yes sir. You know, he'd be like yes sir to his dad. His dad was a preacher. Had his pants up to his belly button. Bro used to come in there with a suit every day, squared away, and everybody used to make fun of him. Look at your daddy, man. And like, bro, if your daddy came to school and your daddy was your mama and your daddy, and you had two mamas and daddies. Bro, people are gonna clown you so hard, bro, and it's not fair for a kid to have to grow up completely confused. And these people are playing. They say that you say you want to be a man. Being a man doesn't involve giving birth. That's a woman. You got something down there that you know what I'm saying, and the baby come out. Why do you want to? Why do you want to experience and it don't look like that? So y'all don't think it's that smooth, you know? It's more graphic than that. You ain't ready, you'll pass out up in there. But
oh man,
it's if you want to be a man, then you would think that a man wouldn't want to be feminized, like laying on a table with your legs up and a baby coming out, and you have a baby on your breast. You say you want to be a man, though. You can't play. Let's bring me to my next point. Bruce Gender. Bruce Jenner.
Oh yeah.
Here we go,
bruh. I don't understand. I do not understand why conservatives are even remotely supporting Bruce Jenner. I don't get it, man. Y'all help me understand this. help me understand it.
Man, watching Jenner in an interview, it's like the time I went to St. Martin when I was in the Navy, and we had this Chinese cab driver who had the thickest Jamaican accent you ever heard, but he was 100% Chinese. 100%. but he was like, Bomba Clyde boy, all that blew your mind. So when I see Jenner, but I hear the voice of a man, but then I see that train wreck, that clown show, that cry for help of a face and body. They just, it's so weird. And like you said, the track record that he has, how conservative he is, how he can run as one, I don't know. But to play a bit of a devil's advocate, California is so jacked up from top to bottom, inside and out. 5th largest economy on the planet, 5th largest economy in the world. And our state is in shambles. Homeless people everywhere. The roads, there's roads here in California. If you got to pee, don't drive on them. You're going to have an accident. Children performing in the bottom, 2 or 3 in the country. It's insane. So I think I can kind of maybe see how a Californian would see this as a welcome change. But man, that's a whole lot of crazy there. My goodness, his mind must be like a ball of Christmas lights, just tangled and a mess.
Bro, this dude don't even seem comfortable there. Like if you wanted to be a woman, you would expect the dude to change his voice. At least put a little softness in there. This dude come through the scene with Barry White voice.
I can't change my voice. I'm still Bruce Jenner. I can't change. I cannot change the voice. It's still going to be the same, Mr. Tatum. I'm not changing.
I can't. I don't get. What if your kid is hugging mommy and, hey, you cutie little baby, and all other women are like, he's a cute baby, and then this dude come through, hey, and the kid is like, hey, what is daddy?
Nice baby.
Daddy, mommy. And I'm not trying to make fun of this dude, but I think that this person really needs to address his own personal issues. Bro, you were a weak dude when you were trying to be a dude. You were a Kardashian. They were slapping him in the back of the head, telling him to go sit down somewhere in the house of Kardashians. And then now he a girl, and then he's a man. Well, he's a man. He's now a girl, but then he date women. I'm like, bro, I mean, I know California's struggling hard.
Oh, man.
But my God, y'all that bad?
But he was able to go back to being a man when he wanted to play at that golf course that was a men's only club. He was able to Mr. Potato Head and change all that stuff and go back to being Bruce. So you can't take him seriously. And there was a reason they called it gender disorder before, again, scrubbing the language. Now it's gender dysphoria. Ooh, dysphoria sounds fun. I want some. Yeah. They changed the words first. It's a disorder. Things aren't firing right. Something is wrong. And that's why drag queens, or whatever you want to call them, that's why they catch people's eye, because it's unusual. It's weird. It's queer, if you will. So handing this dude the keys to the state, it's just.
He already showed his agenda. He already said, my alliance is to the LGBTQ community. That's pretty much what he said. He said it in an interview years ago. We can't be deceived. Politicians are politicians. All of them can say whatever they're going to say, and then they get in the office to do something different. You can tell by a person's lifestyle, is it conducive for that person to go down a certain path? And I think Mr. Potato Head is going down a certain path. Do you think that he's not going to advocate for LGBTQ? Do you think he's not? It's in his best interest to support what he's trying to become and what he's trying to do. I'm gonna bring the definition up on the thing, and then Oliver, I think you had something that you want to add. But I'll bring this thing up on a search. Gender dysphoria is the term to describe a sense of unease that a person may have because of a mismatch between their biological sex and their gender identity. How is it that people will say that you LGBT, anti-LGBTQ or whatever, when this is a description of what people are going through? They have a disconnect between what they really are and what they feel like they are. That's gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria should be treated. I mean, at least you should understand it for what it is. There's a lot of other things that people go through psychologically that we have a name for. These people take medication. We understand that, you don't discriminate against anybody because of it, but you address the issue. But with this, you can't even keep it real with somebody. You got to be fake. I don't know, Oliver. What, ABL, whoever, go ahead.
All right, I'm right quick. Gender dysphoria. The thing about that is the way they treat it, at least in the military, is free sex change. You see what I'm saying? So we talking about
on taxpayer dollar.
On taxpayer dollars, yes. So that's where you kind of get weird with the medical industry. They tell you pretty much anything. I mean, obviously, there's something wrong. So if there's something wrong, why would you kind of like play along with it and call that treatment? It doesn't make any sense. Go back to the whole drug thing. If somebody's on drugs, are you going to treat them with the same thing? Like, it don't make no sense. And then as far as gender, Bruce Gender, whatever their name is, the thing about California is, like at the time when he first ran or announced, it was like, okay, are you going to pick him or are you going to pick Gavin Newsom? Now there's better candidates in there that could do the job. When we're talking about California, it's so desperate. It's so much in dire straits for a better governor. It's like, man, you take whatever you can get at this particular point in time. The lesser of two evils for real. You're going to take this big 6'3" Wheaties box guy that now identifies as a lady, or the dude that's running the state into the ground, Nancy Pelosi's nephew, a nut job, a crook. Who are you going to pick? You got two bad options, but it's like a lump of coal or a lump of something else. And that's pretty much what it is.
Do you guys think that Gavin Newsom will be recalled? I'm gonna say this. You know, obviously I have a pick for, I don't live in California, so I'm not voting for anybody, but you know, I like Anthony Trimino. I think that Larry Elder is one of my favorite people in the world, and I think he has an incredible chance to win. I'm just gonna be honest. The dude is the most popular person in California. However, I really do believe that Gavin Newsom will not be recalled. I believe he will not get recalled. I don't think he's gonna do it. I think liberals hate Republicans more than they love success. They hate They hate these racist Trump supporting Republicans more than they want to live in many cases, in my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I highly doubt that he'll be recalled. I really do.
Yeah, being behind enemy lines. Yeah, man, it's like you said, that their hate for Republicans and that Trump taste in their mouth is so strong that even though Gavin Newsom is dragging us down the road to poverty and socialism and basically turning into another state of Mexico, it's too strong. And the people, man, I work with them. They're my customers. They're my coworkers. It is insane the way these people think of conservatives and think of Republicans. And man, they're so far gone. Their minds are so tainted that you're not getting through to them. Like I said, they'll pull the lever just because they're not a Republican, because, you know, they got to stick it to their Republican dad or something that, you know, told them to get out and work and, you know, break a sweat and not get a degree in, you know, lesbian pottery. So they're going to stick it to that image in their mind any way they can. And even though gas, man, is high as, I'm not going to say it on your channel, but it's high. And
I got the beat for you.
the taxes, man, the real estate, all this stuff, man, is just through the roof. It's crazy. And it would be different if we had something to show for it. All these taxes that we're having stolen from us, it would be different. It would be an easier pill to swallow if we had wonderful roads and schools and not all these sanctuary cities. But even though Gavin is the worst thing this state has ever seen, and I've been here for 40 years, he's the worst thing this state has ever seen. They'll leave his butt right there.
It's the same thing with Biden. Go ahead, Oliver.
No, I was going to say, I was actually at CPAC in Dallas with Bruce Gender. So I saw how a lot of the Republicans were just falling and bending over backwards for this person. And, you know, they want to seem tolerant, but they're playing right into the left's hands. They're playing right into the Democrats' hands, and he has no chance of winning California. So you're going to tarnish our party. You're going to divide our party, and this person has no chance of winning this state. And I don't understand like why some people are embracing this person so much. And it just goes back to, yeah, we don't want to seem like we're transphobic or homophobic, so we're going to embrace this person, but they can't win. So it's for nothing.
You said it brilliantly. I think it's the same way across the board. It's the same way with Black conservatives. It's the same way with the conservative movement. They want to seem tolerant because they have pressure. See, people, I could say I'm an anomaly in my lifestyle because I'm grown, man. I don't care. I don't have no liberal friend, and I don't care. And you know, my mom and them, my daddy and them, if they want to be liberal, I don't care. They don't pay my bills, so it don't matter to me if I'm the only person in my family that's a conservative. It doesn't matter. But to other people, man, they can't handle it, bruh. They can't handle it. Yeah. The stress of mom and them and cousin them, or not being able to go to certain parties, not being able to kick it with their homeboys, they can't handle it. So what do? Oh, let's police brutality. You know, you got conservatives saying, oh, police brutality. The police, Ahmaud Arbery was just jogging. You like, yep. Bro, you trying to meet them in the middle, but they don't want to meet you. They just take, it's the same thing with January 6th or whatever. I think it was the 6th. You know, we knew. I knew. I didn't go down there because I said I ain't really about it to go all the way. So I ain't finna go down there and play in the middle. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna go do something, I'm gonna have to be armed and everything. It's gonna really be something serious. But I ain't about that. I ain't trying to do that. So I ain't finna go down there and play possum with these people. So, but when they did it, I said, there you go. Conservatives are playing into the hands. They want to meet them in the middle and say, hey, you know, we don't agree with that. All violence is unacceptable. It's our people. A lot of them were our people in there trying to thwart a false election in their opinion. And so when we jumped out on a limb to say we don't condone that, and the left go, see, we don't condone that. Oh, it was y'all though. Y'all the one did it. Now everybody that was a part of it is a part of an insurrection, and they banned every conservative off social media. You know what I'm saying? Like we fell into it trying to kiss their butts, man. And I think it's really killing us. Go ahead, ABL.
Yeah, the whole thing with the 6 thing is like, I was against that from the beginning because I already saw where it was going to go. I knew it was going to happen. And it's like, we got to be strategic. We can't just do things randomly. If you're going to do something, do it for real. Have a plan of success. Not just, oh, I want to send a message. I want to be part of something. And I knew the federalists are going to be involved with it, which has already been confirmed. Yep. You got guys that have been identified with the FBI, the CIA, the DEA, and everything else. You got guys on the left, Antifa, that have been arrested. On the internet, you can look them up. I knew that was going to happen. I saw it coming. I predicted it. It happened. And it was just, we got to do things smartly. That's all. Like, if we're going to do something, like you said, if you're going to do it, but be smart while you're at it. Don't give them things to use against us, because now what they're doing every day, they're talking about that. Mm-hmm. I read that CNN did not 1, not 2, but 3 documentaries about it. 3 since it happened. They're gonna play that over and over, and we can't be doing that. We got to be smart.
Yeah, we can't give them. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was gonna say that's why I put out a message about the inauguration. I told my supporters, please do not go out for the inauguration. Please do not do anything for the inauguration, because the left, the Democrats, they're looking for conservatives to do something. They're looking for some kind of unrest so they can say, hey, see, they are violent. And then that would have made it even worse on us, because then they would have used that even more to ban us and do all the things that they're doing to us now. And it would have been playing right into their hands, like you said.
Yeah, and they're not going to sift through all the wreckage. They're not going to look for the truth in it. They're just going to paint everybody with a broad brush. That's why we can't give them not one single scrap. It's like when Trump was in office, any little thing he did or said, it was the worst thing ever. They're talking about it all night long. We can't give them the slightest. And I've read articles and stuff saying how they knew there was somebody in charge, the Master at Arms, who was asking for support from the National Guard. They knew something was going to happen, but that was shot down because they also knew something was going to happen, and they needed it to happen so they could then turn around and paint this. Somebody even said on CNN, the worst thing since 9/11. Are you kidding me? What? But the people who watch that crap believe that crap. They really think that that was the worst thing since 9/11. It was an attack on our democracy, when those people saying that are the attacks on our democracy. Look, it wasn't that bad, okay? It was not. You're going to tell me if you had all these thousands of crazy people who were really, like the picture of the dude with the zip ties, he was looking for Nancy Pelosi. Come on, man. It was not that bad. Now, it wasn't right, but it wasn't what often the way it is, it's not as bad as they're telling us that it was. But this is all they needed. They needed that tiny little scrap. Now they got a committee going. Pelosi's banning certain Republicans from the committee because they're going to be asking real questions. Hollywood, if you got a bunch of those disgusting Hollywood perverts in a room and put a gun to their head, they couldn't write nothing better than this.
100%, bro. I knew they was coming from a mile away, bro. They didn't have no weapons. Then they finished the vote the same day, hours later. I mean, it didn't accomplish anything, bro. It was the worst day ever since 9/11, bro, was an attack on our country. Buildings fell. People were jumping 100 stories out of buildings and hitting the ground. We had multiple buildings fall. People are dying to this day because of the aftermath of 9/11, because of the chemicals and different things of that nature. It was a total terror, fear that went through our entire country on that day. There is, man, that January the 6th lasts for, I don't know, 45, maybe 2 hours. And nobody really, ain't nothing happened. Nobody even had a weapon.
And they walked out peacefully.
Yeah. Someone walked in peacefully. They
in the little velvet ropes, like tourists.
They in line.
Like they gave them little swag bags to take home. Yeah. And like 9/11, that changed our lives. That changed the way we travel. That changed it to this day.
Yep. We went to war over that for like 20 years. 20 years. Like we like the 6th, nothing. They got committees. You know what I'm saying? They got a committee. Not one congressperson was injured or hurt or even really in a serious threat, because they were evacuated a long time ago. They had armed security all over the place. It's total BS. Let me bring this in because Sky gave me this clip. So close your eyes, ABL. This is what I was talking about, because I want people to see. I want people to see how stupid this is. Just close your eyes, ABL.
Ooh.
Look at this dude, man. What bro? Don't this look like, you know how they had the picture of was it Geico or one of the insurance companies?
Caveman. Yeah,
Caveman.
So the woman is right there on the left, and the man is on the right. Biological.
Wait, hold on.
Now they identify as the reverse.
I'm confused. This is a man.
That's a woman.
That's a woman biologically.
And then he got a beard stash.
Yeah,
okay, and then this is a man.
That's a dude. That's Billy from
Samoan pro wrestler.
That's Billy from Predator. Billy.
And hold on. Time out, ABL. Time out. I'm confused. Let me just try to walk this through in my mind. This person had this baby, right? This person had this baby.
Yes.
And since they switch identities, this fool think milk gonna come out.
Yes.
Sufficient enough to feed a baby.
He's shocked when it doesn't come out.
And he on the new,
bruh.
Like I never thought I'd see the day where this was prevalent. You feel me? Like I figured people, you live your lifestyle, live your life. It's America. You can do whatever you want to do. But bro, when you featured on TV and you really think something gonna come out of there, enough to sufficiently feed a baby. Like, bro, you can't just a little drizzle, bro. You got to feed a human being with this.
Yeah, bro. I never.
Do you understand that telling us that this is not a mental illness,
bro?
That poor kid.
Child abuse, mental illness, pedophilia.
CPS, please come rescue the baby.
I never thought the day would come where I support kidnapping. I'll leave it there. Get that kid out of there.
Let me say this, man. And this is, I know that some people may disagree with me, which is fine, man. We live in America. You can have a comment, you can disagree. This is why I feel like people that do this should not be able to have children. Like, if you cannot normally function, and in my opinion, if you cannot normally function with a child and you are not representative of the proper identity, you shouldn't be putting kids involved in this. You shouldn't do this. And I personally think, and people could disagree with me, that I don't even think people should be able to adopt kids when they're in this state. It's not fair to the children. Now, if the child is 16 years old or some of that nature, and they say, okay, I cognitively understand what I'm getting into. I want to be a part of a family like this. I want to be a part of a dynamic like this. Then that's open game. But you're telling me people that are doing this, that the kids are brought up in such a manipulative, confusing environment. I mean, you get your kids taken away for less. If you're struggling with extreme bipolar disorder or something that makes you, and you got to get on medication, you're not thoroughly taking your medications because it's got your mind gone, you can lose your kids over that stuff. And these people are completely deranged. and they're putting this kid in danger. I mean, I guess you can go get formula from the thing, but how often are they trying to feed this baby? Are they willing to starve this baby, in an attempt to, get milk to come out? I mean, and, I guess these people, I guess one of the foods could actually have a baby. So I guess you can't stop a person for doing that. But man, we should not be celebrating this in and of itself, in my opinion.
Man, there should be mobile hysterectomies. But one thing, as a man,
on demand,
from high school all the way through, where you were, let's say you work with a bunch of guys. When you come in, when I used to deliver beer, they had windows, these big windows in the driver room, and you could see the trucks pull up, the guys at the end of the day offloading the empty kegs and all that. And you would be getting roasted before you even came inside. We could see you through the window. You're getting torn apart and you don't even know. So you got to walk the gauntlet when you come in there, and you about to get it. So if you're in school and your mom with the beard and your daddy got the baby on his his breast or whatever, his non-milk producing breast, man, you are setting that kid up. Kids will find stuff to bag on you about no matter what. You could be perfect or as close to it. They're gonna find something. But if you're gonna serve it up on a silver platter like this, you are really setting that kid up to get ridiculed and mocked, and it's gonna be all bad. And it may not be right, and kids shouldn't do it, but that's the way it is. We had this kid growing up, and he had a hearing aid. And I was 8 years old at the time, okay? So forgive me. This kid had a hearing aid, and his name was Jeffrey. So we started calling him Deffrey, okay? And other than that, he was
Jericho,
cool
you going
kid.
to hell, man. You're going to hell.
My point is, I'm ready to pay the price. But my point is, kids are going to find something regardless, but you're going to give them some weird crap like this, man. At least when you drop the kid off from school or something, try to dress normal. I mean, damn, man, this kid don't deserve that. That's terrible. Sucking on your dad's nipple. Ew.
Bro. I mean, just imagine the dysfunction that a kid may feel because everybody in the house is feminized. He don't have a daddy. Out of the two dudes, neither one of them are a daddy, and neither one of them giving him masculine energy. And then he's all coddled and weird. And so, but the thing is that, dude, people used to make fun of me because I had skinny legs, bro. They called me chicken legs. I had big ears. They called me Curious George. Bro, I couldn't read that good. They would popcorn read me all the time. I mean, they would throw it to Brandon Tatum, and I'd be in there like, and said, and they laughing. And then the girl I like was right next to me. I'm like, they killing my game, bro. And then I go popcorn. Somebody go popcorn Tatum, and they just laugh. I can't read. So, bro, they'll smoke you up in there if you ain't got no. I happen to be good at football, so I was able to overcome it. But bro, you're gonna go to school and your parents out here chucking and jiving like this, man, it's no good for you. Let me do a couple of housekeeping things. Make sure I hit the like button. I think we're gonna wrap it up because we've been going. We usually do about 2 hours. I'm gonna work y'all into 2 hours again. This is every Thursday. Every Thursday we're gonna have a panel because people were asking me. We used to do this every Thursday when Derek was around. I don't know where Derek then went. I don't know if he got translated or what. I don't know. He in another world.
I've been looking for him too, man.
I mean, Derek said, man, I'm done, bro. I ain't on social media. You can't even call me. So, but I don't know what happened to Derek. I mean, hopefully it's all good. But we used to have this every week. So every Thursday we'll have it same time. We may switch the time depending on flexibility of people that come on the panel. But right now, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. Obviously, if you live on the East Coast, I think it's 9:30. We have it every Thursday. We'll have a panel. We switch it up every now and again, have some different people. ABL normally the ride or die. So we'll switch it up with other people. If you are interested in merch on my store, and I'm going to pass it around for y'all to tell people where they can find you, where they can subscribe to your channels and all that. But if you're interested in merch on my store, I have 20% off. It's called Live 20. Live 20. Get your 20% off all of our merch on the store wide. You can find all of my stuff on The Officer Tatum. It's your first time hearing me or knowing about me, learning about me, or whatever the case may be. Go to The Officer Tatum on my website. Click on here, follow me, subscribe on the channel. ABL, where can people find you at, man?
Yeah, the best thing to do is go to my website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN. Everything's on there. My Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of that. And of course, I'm right here on YouTube. Search right there. See that? Just search them 3 letters, ABL. I'll pop right on up. Also, I got the merch store. You already know I got these hats here. USA special edition, limited edition. I got these on the store. I got 1776. I got a bunch of more hats, t-shirts, stickers, mugs, all that good stuff. I got all that on the store. ABL merch, ABLmerch.com. All of that is available on the website. I got a lot more things. If you go to the regular website, check me out that way.
Yeah, awesome. Jericho, where do you get that green gear from, man?
Man, like this here, you can find me on YouTube, Jericho Green. I got all my links there. I just launched my website about a week and a half ago, jerichogreen.net. You can find me on Instagram, JG Talk. Yeah, man, check it out. My channel is like these gentlemen here, but more like after dark, after 10:30. That's put the kids to bed and come see me. The language is a bit coarse, but we're all grown-ups here. We can handle it.
Awesome. Oliver, man, I think you fairly new to the scene, man. I hope you blow them out of the water, man. But where can they find you and everything, man?
So you can find me on Instagram. Just search Right Winged Angel. I also have a YouTube channel. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. If you want this shirt, then you can go to my Instagram, click on the shop, and get you one.
Cool. Well, thank you, brothers, for being on here, man. I'm glad that we hit 3,500 people on live. Our goal is to be consistent because we used to have like 20,000 people on here, 13,000, 20,000. I think we got up to 30,000 one time. We used to do the show weekly. So if you're watching this, every Thursday, we're going to have a conversation. Feel free to submit your questions and stuff in the comment section. We'll try to answer some of them. If you super chat, I'll be able to see them. Also, join the Tatum squad. I know ABL has a squad. I'm a part of ABL's squad. Jericho, do you have a join button on your YouTube channel yet?
Oh no, man! I'm not monetized by YouTube.
Oh, you can't do nothing on it. Okay,
no, you can't do nothing until you're monetized. So we'll see what happens. Keep checking with me.
We'll get you rolling off of YouTube because that's why I had to get off YouTube. So I have Tatum Squad join on YouTube, but also you can get our Discord channel, tatumsquad.com. You'll go to the Discord. If you don't know what Discord is, you'll find out very rapidly when you get in there. I mean, we got a lot of cool stuff available in there. ABL has a join, so join them. And I'm a part of ABL's group. And the reason I say do that, and it's not just necessarily about the money and all this other stuff. It's about supporting somebody. We out here every single day putting out content. All of us on here every single day, taking the hits, taking the blows from society, and we out here grinding. So just my level of support to all these guys. That's why I support them. I'm gonna buy some merch from all of y'all. So y'all make sure you support these guys. Make sure you follow them if you haven't followed them anymore, or you haven't followed them yet. I'm gonna pull you guys off. Y'all stay tuned. I'm gonna close out, and then we'll have our conversation afterwards. And so make sure you join the Tatum Squad if you're not already. Some of our exclusive content will be on there. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Shout out to all the people on the panel: ABL, Jericho Green, and Oliver Mack. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all hold on, and I'll catch y'all after I close it out. So let's see. Let me get you all right there. There you go. Boom. All right, y'all. So every Thursday at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, 9:30 Eastern Time, we have our show. We're going to make it about 2 hours. Eventually, I want to work y'all back into it. I also have a podcast that I'm going to start doing. This is going to be my little setup on my podcast. We put it together. I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to do that every night. It's going to be later. It's going to be much later than the 6:30 thing. It's because people demanded that I do it later so it don't interfere with anybody else's stuff. But also, if you want merch on the store, 20% off, live 20, go on and get it. I think there's something. Is there something else that I need to tell you guys? I'll get to that in a while. I got so much going on. I want to tell you about everything, but just keep that in mind for now. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Hit the like button, share it with your friends. Every Thursday we do this show. We're going to have other things in store, so y'all stay tuned. I love y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out.